Hey, it's Jessica, and today I've got a haul update for you. I feel like it's been a hot minute since I've done one. I keep getting lipstick on my teeth. Y'all gotta help me out. Okay, anyway, this is from, I did a luxury makeup haul, I wanna say in April. I'll link the original haul below. Pause. If you've not seen it, go watch the haul first. Then come back and watch this. Anyway, I wanted to share with you guys my thoughts on these products. I've tried all of them for now a few months. I have found some absolute unbelievable favorites and then some just kind of meh products. So it's kind of like a best and worst from that haul. I love doing these. I'm trying to keep up with them because I always promise that I'll do them for you guys, and I love doing them. So here we go. First thing, let's go in order of like best thing I've tried to like, no, let's go in order from like worst out of them all the way to the best. I'm gonna try to rank these. Some of them, they'll be like equivalent, but still. All right, the one that I was the most unimpressed with was this ByTerry Hyaluronic Hydra Powder. I don't know why I bought this. Let me take you on a trip down my facial skin and my preferences. I don't even wear powder every day. I really don't like powder, especially white loose powders. Why I bought this, I have no idea. I know that I'd seen a few people talk about it and they had dry skin and they're like, this is amazing if you've got dry skin. I just don't reach for it. So I've tried it, you know, quite a few times. Whoa. And it's just okay. It feels like loose powder. I mean, maybe not quite as drying, but I feel like, here's the test for me. If I put on a loose powder and then I go into my bathroom and I turn on the bright lights and I can see like peach fuzz, I'm like, nope. No, thank you. Because I would rather look a little oily than be able to see like peach fuzz on my face. You know what I mean? It's there and I don't mind that it's there, but I don't want to accentuate it, you know? So I feel like this is just like every other powder in that way. Now, is it super finely milled? Absolutely. Did it do an amazing job blurring the pores? Yes. So if you're into that, this is great. But I also think there are drugstore versions that are also really good. Now, if you are looking for a loose powder that is amazing for dry skin, but also has some coverage, because really I'm like, I don't need to mattify my skin with a white powder. But if there's one with a little color that adds some coverage, I could get down for that. So this is the Maybelline Fit Me powder. I talked about it in a recent video as one of the best drugstore products I've ever tried. It's my favorite product, period. High-end drugstore, it's my favorite loose powder I've ever tried, above Laura Mercier, because again, it's got a little bit of coverage. I use the shade 10 and it's so good. So I'll link this below. Way more affordable and better, just better. I will have what's on my face, by the way, linked below. I actually did a get ready with me today with everything, with tons of new products, drugstore, high-end, both. So watch that video if it's up. I will link that below as well. Okay, is that enough? The next thing I was the least impressed with is, I'm sad to say this, the Charlotte Tilbury Quad. I bought it in the vintage Vamp. And it's a 4-pan eyeshadow palette, insanely expensive. Packaging is beautiful. Her packaging is always beautiful. And I've really been on a kick of trying a bunch of her products that I absolutely love. And there's two in this video that I'm gonna talk about. But this, I don't get it. Like, I get that this shimmer is really pretty. I'll put that on my eyes and think that is beautiful. And it is. But I also know that I can do that with 1,000 other palettes, you know? So then they have these deeper colors like the red and kind of purple. They're so similar. Like, those are way too similar. For just a quad, they should all four be different enough that you can tell the difference. But once those are blended out, they look the same. And then there's this gold shade that I was all excited about, but then I later learned it's really just a topper. You can see right there, it's just a glitter top. I don't get it. It's so expensive for the price. It's not worth it, you guys. That's all I can say. They blended fine, but like my eyeshadow look today, for example, is done with the CoverGirl, you know, $10 True Naked Peach Punch palette. I did put a glitter on my eyes, so I used the Tarte Top Yacht Chrome Paint. The shade is Top Yacht. The Tarte Chrome Paint and Top Yacht is what's on my lids. Those two together would be equivalent to this, and this didn't do like anything. Like, I'm so disappointed. All right, next disappointment, and then we're getting to some good ones, I promise. This is the RCMA. This is not a disappointment. It's just kind of meh. I think it was fine, and I'll probably use it some more because I still feel like, again, it's a white loose powder. Why did I buy 2 white loose powders. Like, what was I thinking? So I just feel like it was fine. Again, it blurred the pores. This I think looked better on my skin than the ByTerry one. And this is way cheaper. So I would say if you're wanting a translucent, I say white, but it really is translucent, loose powder, go for this one. You get 1,000 times more product, 3 ounces versus 0.35 ounces. That's insane. So you get way more powder. And I do think it looks nicer on the skin, especially if you put a setting spray on top. So once I put this on, at the end of my makeup look, I'll cover it in like MAC Fix Plus or some kind of a setting spray, and I feel like it melts with it and it looks really nice. So not a total disappointment, just not really my cup of tea. All right, next product is this Tom Ford. Boy, I was spending some money, honey. Bronzing powder. I got it in the shade Terra. It's a somewhat famous bronzer. I like it. I will use this up. Do I think I'm gonna repurchase it? No. And I think to me, like, bronzer is not something I do every single day, but I do like bronzer. And I just felt like this is hard to get to show up with certain brushes. It's pressed very hard in the pan. So with that in mind, you've got to have a dense brush to pick it up and place it. I like to use really fluffy brushes with my bronzer so I can just kind of diffuse it really easily. And with this, I can't do that as easily. And that frustrates me. So it was expensive. I'm going to use it up. The shade is beautiful, but just keep in mind that if you like to kind of diffuse it out, this is not easy to do with a big old brush. You have to use a more densely packed brush. And so for that reason, I'm out. But the packaging is stupid pretty. Now I have 4 more products and they're all amazing. Oh my gosh. So this one I've got on my shoulders because I'd already put a highlighter on my face and I was like, well, I want to show it. It's the Jouer powder highlighter in Citrine. Jouer is a new, like, I've known about this brand forever. This is a very famous powder. It's incredibly, like, almost creamy for a powder. And I mean, it's gorgeous as a highlighter. It's really pretty. It's a lot. If you like a more subtle highlight like me, it's almost too much, but it also can look pretty. But like even on my shoulder, that's kind of diffused out and it's still like ba-bam. So keep that in mind when you're putting it, you know, in those places. So I have to use a very small brush to place this because I like to use a little bit bigger of a brush and just put a like kind of more forgiving highlight in those regions, and this is not very forgiving. So if you have fine lines, I would stay away. It's super shimmery. It's super, I mean, you can see it's a lot. So if you know that's not your cup of tea, I would stay away, but the formula is gorgeous. Will I use this more? Of course. Would I buy it again? No. But that's more not because it's no good, it's because I know what I like and I like a more subtle highlight, and that is not subtle at all. These next few products, if I were to pack for a trip tomorrow, all of these would be in it. I love them so much. Okay, let's start with this. This is the Charlotte Tilbury Magic Foundation. Now I'm filming a video today of foundations that are very similar to this. So it's not like you have to run out and buy this particular one, but I do think this is gorgeous. This is a very lifelike foundation. It's not high coverage. I would say it's light to maybe medium. I mean, it's certainly more than like a BB cream or tinted moisturizer, but it's not a high coverage. It's definitely a liquid. It's not like a thick whipped kind of a foundation. I really like this. I've applied it with my hands. I applied it with a sponge. I've tried it with a brush, but really I don't use brushes much with foundation, at least right now I'm not. So I don't know that I've done that at all with this, but I just like it. Now, like I said, I'm gonna give you a little tidbit now in case you don't see the other video. I have a dupe. This is the Flower Beauty Light Illusion. I feel like these are the same foundation. If I were wearing one or the other, I'd never be able to tell the difference in a mirror. If you blindfolded me and just squirted it into my hand and I put it on, I'd never be able to tell you which one it is. Also, the packaging, they're both gorgeous. I mean, and Flower Beauty, obviously drugstore. So I love this, but you can totally get a dupe for it from Flower Beauty in the drugstore, which I adore. But I do really like this. I could see myself buying this again for shallow reasons, because I literally look at this and I'm like, oh my gosh, it's so pretty. But then I remind myself like, no, but Jessica, this is actually so pretty. So they're both amazing. No complaints. Two of my favorites that I use like kind of off and on. I just go like every other day, ping pong back and forth. Okay, I'm trying to decide which one's gonna be number one. I think I've decided. So Number 2 of my favorites is the Soft Glam palette. It's the perfect neutral palette. It's got Tempera, and that one I love. I just set my eye primer with it. It's amazing on the brow bone. You can set concealer with it. It is gorgeous. Again, that's if you're near my skin tone, obviously. I love all of these like kind of transition shades, because if you're a little bit darker, rustic might be more of a transition shade. But if you're a little bit like kind of medium, maybe burnt orange, sienna is a little bit more red, and then orange soda I love. And it's funny because when I used to see orange soda, I would think, that's too orange. No, it's really not. Like, it looks really nice. If you're scared of that, don't be, because it ends up, when the whole look is all put together, it's gorgeous. Glistening is my favorite on the lid. Fairy is a little bit too greenish yellow for my taste. It's not bad, but it's definitely like a gold. So I use it from time to time. Rose Pink and Sultry are gorgeous. These are incredibly soft shadows. They can definitely kick some stuff up, so you just keep in mind that you might want to blow on your brush, tap it off, whatever your taste is, whatever your bad habit is, do that. Beautiful, just beautiful. And then they have a matte black, a dark brown. It's got literally everything I need. So I think when I travel next, I know we have a Disney trip planned in November. No, we're traveling in October again too, with our baby. So I'm probably gonna bring this. It's just the perfect palette and I don't need anything else. Number 1 is the Charlotte Tilbury. It's the Airbrush Flawless Finish Powder. I have it in the shade number 1, Fair. I've talked about this a lot on my channel because it really is the best powder I've ever used. I'm gonna try to not get too excited in this video, because I feel like I like go off and I like freak out about how good this is, because it is so good. It's so expensive, but I've never found a powder this good in my life. Setting my under eye. It's so forgiving. It's brightening, but not so brightening that it looks ridiculous. Do I see a little tiny bit of like my, my fine lines that are just there? Of course, there are lines that are there. For those to just suddenly disappear would be amazing, right? But it definitely sets the concealer. It's beautiful, it's brightening, it's so finely milled for a pressed powder. And I'll even use it sometimes, like right here, to kind of clean that area up under like blush or bronzer. I'm doing it with my finger. I usually do it with the brush. It is amazing. I'll even put it down my nose to kind of brighten that area because I get redness. It's expensive, guys. It's the best powder I've ever used. Jessica, don't freak out. Don't freak out. I'll link it below. All of these are linked below. So that's something like, when I look at my little pile of things there, what would I buy again? Like if I ran out, what would I buy again? I would buy this powder again. Let me rephrase. I will buy this powder again because I'm gonna run. I'm almost hitting pan and I'm like, no. Like I said, I would maybe buy this again. But then it's like, really, Jess, because the Flower Beauty really is the same thing. So maybe I wouldn't, but I really like it enough to buy it again. The Soft Glam, like if I hit pan on a bunch of shadows and ran out, I would buy this again. The rest of them I wouldn't purchase again. The Jouer highlight is pretty, but there's a million things similar and it's not really my cup of tea. The bronzer, everything else really I explained my thoughts on. So that's what I would purchase again. To me, that's a good indicator of something that, wow, that is worth buying. That is an amazing makeup product. And that's why we're all watching these videos in the first place. And actually, with that in mind, I'd be curious, and let me know in the comments, what was it that pulled you to the YouTube beauty world? What were you looking up? How did you stumble upon beauty videos? For me, I was looking up a foundation that was expensive. It was gonna be my first expensive foundation, a Lancome one. I think it's the Tante Idole. No, it was a different one, but it was similar, but it was a different line. I was looking up that foundation and I found a YouTuber and I'm like, what? And they're reviewing it and putting it on their face. I'm like, what? So I watched it and then I just watched a ton that night and I was hooked. So I'd be curious, what hooked you into the YouTube beauty world? So I hope you enjoyed. Let me know if you enjoy haul updates. I know I do because I feel like it's a great follow through for hauls because I like watching hauls. I like seeing what's new out there, seeing swatches, etc. But it is nice to see like, okay, now that you've used it, what's actually good. So if you enjoyed, give it a thumbs up so that I know. I hope you'll subscribe before you leave and I'll see you guys in my next one. Bye.